Hey everybody, back with another movie review for you. This time we will be talking about the movie Warcraft. Just came out Friday. I know we talked about it. If you watch our weekly Peeps on the Couch show, we talked a little bit about it this past Sunday, and so I'm going to give you my rundown of it. This is a spoiler-free review, like always. Um, One of my most anticipated movies of the year. If I had done a list, this would have definitely been in the top 5. I was a huge World of Warcraft player. Years ago, I haven't played in a long time, but because of different reasons, I just didn't have time anymore. So, but whatever. But I was a huge fan of World of Warcraft, the Warcraft RTSs. So when they said they were making a movie, I was very interested. I followed it closely for many years. And then they finally were like, okay, we're finally doing this. And then they said Duncan Jones was directing, who is a very good director. If you've ever watched Moon or some of his other movies, they're very good movies. So I was very much looking forward to this movie. I went and saw it and absolutely loved it. It is a movie for Warcraft fans. If you're a fan of the games, like I said, whether it's the old RTSs or even World of Warcraft, this movie, you will enjoy it by far. But obviously, not everybody's a fan of the game. So is this movie for them? It depends. Did you enjoy the Lord of the Rings movies, those kind of fantasy genre movies? If you enjoy that, I think you will get some enjoyment out of this movie, to be honest with you. I could rant and rave about the fact that as a fan, this movie was phenomenal. I loved it. But not everybody is, so I'm going to do a little bit of a rundown for you. This movie does not hold your hand with terminology, the names of places, people. You're thrown right into it. But a lot of them, it's irrelevant if you understand it or not, because it plays virtually no point in the plot or the understanding of the actual movie. You don't need to know who the Kirin Tor are in order to enjoy this movie. Now, for fans of the games, we know the Kirin Tor. We know Dalaran. We know all of this. So it's a nice little jab for us to be able to be like, hey, there's the Kirin Tor, there's Dalaran, or however the hell you want to pronounce it, Dalaran. I think they pronounce it Dalaran in the movie, but it's a nice little nod for fans. For people who aren't fans or don't know the story, it's irrelevant. You don't need to know who these places are to really follow the movie. Now, maybe the names of some characters might get a little confusing if you're a complete idiot. It's not hard to follow who the orcs are, because they all look vastly different. Durotan, Ogrim, Gul'dan, and Blackhand all look different from each other. There's no way you can confuse them. Their characters are very much fleshed out. You understand what they're doing, why they do what they do. That was a big issue I read in a lot of reviews, was that, the characters aren't fleshed out. They're one-dimensional characters and stuff like that. And they're wrong. You know everybody's reasoning for doing everything in this movie. You know why Durotan does what he does. You know why Ogrim does what he does. Gul'dan, Blackhand. Even on the human side, Garona, I know she's not on the human side really, but Garona, you know why she does what she does. You know why Luthar does, why all these characters do what they do. So I feel like a lot of the negative reviews this movie got was people just throwing it into going in wanting to hate this movie because it's a video game movie. And that might not have been the right way to say it, but I mean, it's well known that video game movies have a huge stigma to them, that they're going to be bad movies. And this one's not. It really isn't. Even if you take away my love for the Warcraft franchise, it's still an enjoyable fantasy movie. Now, it's no secret for the people who know me, I didn't enjoy the Lord of the Rings movie. I felt they were way too long and boring and not real interesting. But I didn't get that with Warcraft. Now, yes, that was because I was a huge fan. I knew the characters, and I was enjoying watching them on the screen. So, it's a very good movie. Now, again, just going what we were saying, for the fans of the movie, there are plenty of little Easter eggs. There's, early on in the movie, there's a certain cameo by a certain amphibious creature that is, if you don't know it, it means nothing to you. If you don't know Warcraft, or you don't know who this creature is, it means absolutely nothing to you. But for the fans, it's like a huge, oh my god, there it is! There it was! And you're just ecstatic to see it. Another thing this movie does very well is the cities. When you see Ironforge at the early part of the movie, it looks like it was pulled directly from the game. Both the exterior and the interior shots look exactly like they do in WoW, in World of Warcraft. Same thing with Stormwind. I mean, even there was a little overhead shot of Stormwind where you see the entrance to Stormwind. For those who, when you play WoW, you have to go right through the main gates of Stormwind, and it looks just like it does in the game. I mean, they really used detail for this when transitioning all the scenery, even Blackrock, just all of it is pulled from the game, and they did such a good job with it. So it was very, very enjoyable watching it. I will say they did change a few plot points involving a couple of characters. The way certain ones are not necessarily portrayed, but the way their story plays out in the movie is a little different from the games, but still to the same effect. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you've played the games, certain characters are not going to make it out of this movie alive. You know that going into this. And I will say one of those characters, well, two of the characters that don't make it out don't get killed in the way they did in the games. They get killed a different way, but it still serves the same purpose. So, like I said, for the fans of the game, you will enjoy the hell out of this movie. You will like it. You will enjoy it. You will have a lot of good things to see in this movie. If you're not a fan of the games, give it a watch. Give it a chance, I say. Obviously, like we talked about Sunday, the box office for this movie was very, very disappointing in the U.S. Overseas, it has killed it. In China alone, it's made $150 million in its opening weekend, which is a record over there. So, all in all, it's very good, very enjoyable. I'm hoping this is the kickstart to the video game movies. Comic books had theirs after a lot of horrible ones. I'm hoping this is the start for good video game movies. It is a fantastic start, and I'm hoping Assassin's Creed continues it, and maybe we'll get a nice little renaissance for video game movies. So, I give the movie a 4 out of 5. I thoroughly loved it. I really want to go see it again, this time in IMAX, because I did not see it in IMAX when I saw it, and I heard it's very good in IMAX. So, I want to go see it then, but please, everybody, go see this movie. It is so good. And that's it. That's my review for Warcraft. I don't want to. I could spend much more time talking about this movie. I might decide to do a little spoiler review. Just maybe. I haven't really thought about it, but please go see this movie. You know, it's really good. So, with that, bring this video to a close, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.